Hi, my name is Jeff Pagano, and welcome to the Harping on Rugby preview show on our YouTube channel. Please don't be shy with the like and or subscribe button if you can. Join me to look ahead to the Seconds Lions test as someone back earning his 62nd Harping cap. Hello once more to Mr. Mark Jackson.
And hello to yourself, Jeff. Thanks for having me back.
Great to have you back. Mark's been doing a lot of recordings with us over on TikTok during this series, but with, the tests and all, you can see we've gone back to our old school YouTube format. Okay, so listen, let's crack on and look at our feature match of the week, which is, of course, Australia versus the Lions in the second test in the Qatar Airlines men's series. The game is taking place at the MCG on Saturday, July 26th, kicking off at 11 a.m. Irish time. TV coverage is on Sky Sports. The Lions named their match day squad during the week. If you're watching on YouTube, it should be right there in the screen, or for pod listeners, it's in the program notes. Now, Mark has picked out some points about this Lions team for us, starting with the centers.
Yeah, we'll kick it off and say, listen, it's change enforced by injury, really, with both Gary Ringrose's head injury, we'll come on to in a minute, and Sione Tuipulotu's hamstring strain. Hugh Jones played well the last day. There was nothing wrong with what his performance, but I do think, as we found out with Andy Farrell's decision, if Gary was fit, he would have taken the 13 jersey, and I do think that Bundy Aki would have been the 12 as well. He likes that centre partnership to go ahead, and I think it would have been a changed centre partnership. Again, nothing wrong with what the Scottish lads did last week, but I just think the Irish lads just have a little bit more defensively minded there for Andy Farrell in his selection. Um, the big it's big deal for rugby and for player safety and for player concussion, and everything that Gary Ringrose done here is very selfless. He's looking after himself, he's looking after his future, and fair play to him for doing what he did.
Absolutely. Oh no, it's an amazing story. We talked about it, and it's not actually, it's a subject that hasn't come up that much in the last year or so. The with head injuries, but it's still happening. The court cases are still going on. And it's still a big deal. It's still we're still debating over to whether, 20-minute red cards, whatever, what's ruining the game. What we should be talking about is how to make the game safer. And I think that this, like you say, it's a selfless act. The Andy Farrell was obviously going to pick him in 13. We were talking about all the different combinations for centers. I think Aki and Jones isn't one that ever really came up. It was always either, Sione and this all Scottish, or maybe Sione and Ringrose, or, maybe the all Irish. But this is one that we hadn't talked about. But like you say, they're both good performers. It's just a question of whether they gel together well.
Yeah, I think Aki has shown some nice touches with Finn Russell in the tour so far. But as Finn Russell said, I don't know if anybody picked up on it last week when he was interviewed. I think in the first half, the Lions only had one launch play actually launched as such during the first 40 minutes, and I can't remember too many in the second as well. So we'll see what happens this Saturday if anything more structurally comes off with Bundyaki taking the ball apart or there from the 12 channel. I don't think Sonny Tuipulotu did anything wrong, as I said, but he didn't have too many chances to show what he did, what he can do. He's a fantastic player. He's got some great skills and probably has a better kicking game than Bundy, to be honest with you, in the 12 jersey. But we'll see, hopefully, some power from Bundy on Saturday.
Yeah, and of course we saw the how Russell and Tuipulotu are used to each other. I mean, that try, it's like he just instinctively knew he was going to be there. Just put a long miss pass right into his path for that try. But still, like you say, how this 10, 12, 13 combination, how they gel could be really key to what the Lions do. But the other thing that could be key, especially when you compare it to last week, is your second point. You want to talk about the bench.
Yeah, listen, the first 50, 55 minutes for the Lions were excellent. Some of the best pure power rugby they've played on a Lions tour in a long time. They literally wiped, they were 24-5 up at one stage, and there was only one team in it. Any collision in open play was just Lions ball. They won. It's not that they turned over a lot or they focused on turnovers, but they just won collision after collision after collision. A big change for this week will be the loss of Joe McCarthy. He didn't look too bad. He was running around all week, but he's obviously just got too much in his plantar fasciitis to have confidence in him lasting the shift this weekend. And with Ollie Chessum's playing really well as well. Let's be honest. He's not like for like, but he's as like as you get with the guys that are left over. Joe is probably out on his own, bringing that power game to the Lions that they haven't got elsewhere. But on the bench this week, you'd hope for more impact than we had in the last 25 minutes or 30 minutes in the Lions. Normally, you pick a squad of 23, hoping that the eight guys on the bench do add something to the starting 15. We didn't have it last week, unfortunately. I thought Australia came back into the game really, really well. The lads who were on the bench for the Lions didn't really add an impetus to their play, to the pace, to the power, to anything really. It's just that they were just brought on for the sake of being brought on. Guys were probably on the GPS, showing that they reached their limits. As a coach who never made changes for the sake of making changes, it's something that winds me up a treat you never should do. But I do know coaches put a lot into the stats on the GPS for seeing if guys have run their limit, and if that was the case, so be it. But I would really expect a lot more from guys this week, and indeed, I think there's a few changes there. Marcus Smith has failed his HIA, and that's obviously why I'll call him Owen Farrell. We won't give him his nickname that everybody else has been using so far. Listen, the guy has been a class player throughout his career, but form is obviously not taken into account here. He covers centre as well as 10, and Blair Kinghorn on the bench covers the back three, which probably makes sense with Kinghorn because he hasn't done anything wrong, but the back three weren't exactly setting the world on fire last weekend.
Yeah, and it's also there. A name on the bench there is Jack Morgan. We were talking about how there wasn't any Welsh involvement in these games, and we figured if there was one name that was going to make it, it would be Morgan. Still tough on Josh, but I mean he will also provide some impact on the bench if it's a close game. We need to steal a turnover or something towards the end. He'd be a good guy to bring on.
Yeah, I'm delighted for Jack Morgan. He's had a great season in a very poor results wise Ospreys and Welsh team. The kid has probably won a handful of games all season, 2 seasons, 3 seasons maybe. We can go back quite a while. He's he does everything right. He's very good over the ball. He's strong. He's a strong carrier as well. You don't lose too much with him taking Ben Earl's place, but I think he's probably better over the ball, which is something in the last 20 minutes that hopefully himself and James Ryan as well. I think I'm delighted for James Ryan to get a test cap. I think himself and Morgan and actually Ellis Genge off the bench should hopefully add some impact there.
Absolutely. Okay, so now it's time to take a quick look at the Wallabies. Although the Lions did deserve that first test win, Joe Schmidt would have been encouraged by his side's second half, and he has one or two familiar names returning to the lineup for Saturday. What do you make of it, Mark?
Yeah, there's definitely a bit more power up front. We'll see how long they last. If he gets 60 minutes out of Valentini and Will Skelton, he'll be delighted. But for me, the big talking point is still the halfbacks for the Aussies. I think we're a bit surprised last week that they lasted how long as they did. McDermott and Donaldson certainly changed the game for me. They added more. Um, I don't. The word I'm looking for is new out really more than anything else. They had a bit more about them than Gordon and Lina. Listen, Gordon and Lina tackled well, but listen, you don't want your best bit of your halfbacks to be tackling well. You wanted to control the game and see where they went. I didn't think the Aussies' kicking game was that good, and again, we go back to Joe Schmidt putting so much emphasis on kicking from 9 and 10 that it really wasn't as good as it should have been. And I'm quite surprised the Aussies have gone the same again with Gordon and Lina.
Yeah, I mean, Tom Coleman was saying on our rap pod just how he's contrasting the two attacking approaches and just how much better the Lions were at it. It was somehow a miracle that it ended up 3 tries each and such a relatively close scoreline at the end, given how it went. But Joe, I mean, but Joe in particular, someone who has when his Leinster days, he's basically gone to the team, do X, Y, and Z, and you will score you will score tries, and to see him having to struggle to put together an attack, you'd hope he'd improve on that this week. And it is strange that he's got such an inexperienced halfback line, but sure, we'll see how it goes in the end anyway. Okay, so now a quick look at the officials. The last time we did one of these YouTube previews, it was the URC final. I can't remember who won that again, but anyway, Andrea Piardi was the referee then. He is again on Saturday. They're kind of moving around the same a bunch of referees for these tests. And the weather in Melbourne on Saturday is supposed to be cloudy with a little rain, about 55% chance of rain. So we'll see if that affects the game at all. And all that leaves us now is at 10 on the block time mark. How do you see it going at the MC?
Pretty similar to last weekend, actually. I think the Lions will probably go a little bit better with the bench. Hopefully, have more of an impact. Somebody like Owen Farrell maybe kicking a couple of penalties if he has to come on. If it's for Russell, if he takes over the kicking duties. I have the Lions by 12 this week.
Yeah, I mean, you do have to fancy the Lions. I mean, obviously from the series for the neutrals, it would be good for an Australian win. But you look at the two sides and the way it's gone so far, you really do have to fancy the Lions. But we'll see how it goes anyway. It's definitely set for a good game. Okay, listen, we're going to leave it there, man. Many thanks for joining us, Mark. Hope to have you on again soon.
Cheers, mate. Thanks a million.
And thanks to you all for checking out our latest preview show. Be sure to enjoy our match wherever you are, and leave a comment on our Facebook page after the full-time whistle. We will, of course, have our wrap pod for you, which we'll record on Sunday night. Hopefully, you'll help us out by liking, sharing, and subscribing. In the meantime, stay safe, everyone. Slán.